In the quiet suburb of Crestwood, where the nights were usually calm and undisturbed, the Thompson family home stood like any other, a modest two-story house with neatly trimmed hedges and a front porch light that flickered warmly. It was late on a Saturday evening, and inside, the house was filled with the comforting hum of a television and the soft rustling of the family settling in for the night. Unbeknownst to the Thompsons, a shadowy figure watched from across the street. His name was Vincent Roarke, a seasoned burglar with a reputation for precision and ruthlessness. Tonight, he had targeted the Thompsons' house based on a tip he received about a potentially valuable stash of goods. His expertise had always ensured a smooth getaway, but this night would prove to be different. Vincent approached the house with practiced stealth, his gloved hands deftly handling the lock on the back door. It was a simple task for him, and within moments, he was inside the dimly lit kitchen, the cool air of the house greeting him as he moved silently through the rooms. The layout of the house was familiar to him from a quick survey earlier. He knew exactly where to look. He crept through the hallway, his senses alert to every creak and whisper of the house. The television's glow painted eerie shadows on the walls, and the soft murmur of a late-night program drifted through the corridors. Vincent's heart raced with the thrill of the job, his focus sharp as he made his way upstairs, where he believed the valuables were hidden. As he ascended the stairs, he noticed something odd, an unsettling chill that seemed to seep into the walls. The temperature dropped noticeably, and the air grew heavy with a dense, oppressive silence. Vincent shrugged it off as a result of the house's old heating system and continued his advance. At the top of the stairs, he reached the first bedroom door. He pushed it open, only to find a neatly made bed and an empty room. The next room was similar, neat, undisturbed, with no sign of the treasure he was seeking. His frustration grew, but he pressed on, determined to complete the job. It was when he reached the third bedroom that things took a sinister turn. The door creaked open, and Vincent found himself staring into a dark, expansive room. The only light came from a single, flickering lamp on a nightstand beside an enormous four-poster bed. The room was vast, filled with heavy, antique furniture and dark, elaborate tapestries that seemed to absorb the light rather than reflect it. He cautiously entered, scanning the room for anything of value. But then he noticed something strange about the bed. The sheets were rumpled, and a heavy, ominous presence seemed to radiate from beneath them. Vincent's instincts flared with a sense of danger, but his greed drove him forward. He approached the bed and slowly pulled back the covers. To his horror, he found not valuables but a grotesque, almost otherworldly figure lying there. Its skin was pallid and translucent, revealing veins and sinews that pulsed with an unnatural rhythm. The figure was humanoid but with elongated limbs and an unsettlingly smooth, featureless face. Vincent stumbled back, his breath coming in short, panicked gasps. The figure's eyes, hollow and dark, seemed to pierce through him, and as he backed away, he felt an intense pressure in the room, as if the very air was thickening and closing in around him. The temperature continued to drop, and Vincent's breath became visible in the cold, stagnant air. The flickering lamp cast erratic shadows on the walls, and the room seemed to warp and shift as if reality itself were bending. The figure began to stir, its movements slow and deliberate, creating a disturbing contrast with its previously inert state. In a state of sheer panic, Vincent reached for his weapon, a pistol he had kept close at hand. His hands shook uncontrollably as he raised the gun, but before he could react, the figure's dark, hollow eyes seemed to lock onto him. The pressure in the room became unbearable, and Vincent felt an overwhelming sense of dread as if he were being watched by something far beyond his comprehension. Suddenly, the figure moved with an unnatural speed, its elongated limbs reaching out towards him. Vincent fired his weapon, but the bullets seemed to dissolve into the air before they could reach their target. The figure's form shifted and writhed, becoming a nightmarish blur of shadows and darkness. Vincent's screams echoed through the house as he was engulfed by the dark entity. The figure wrapped its inhuman limbs around him, pulling him into the depths of its own horrific dimension. The walls of the room seemed to close in, and the bed, the tapestries, and the entire room distorted and twisted into an eldritch nightmare. By the time the Thompsons awoke to investigate the commotion, there was no sign of Vincent Roarke. The room was as it had been, save for an unsettling coldness that lingered in the air. They found no evidence of a break-in or a struggle, only an inexplicable chill and a lingering sense of something dark and otherworldly.